Assalamu alaikum. What's going on, guys? This is my first video. I've not it's taken me some time to actually want to do this. Actually, to be honest, have the confidence to do this. But I was thinking of doing like a channel just where people can kind of learn about Islam and ask about it. I see a lot of these Muslim channels and they're really good, a lot of them. But I think it'd be good to have like a channel where people can ask questions, non-Muslim and Muslim things, even if you think it's offensive or messed up or whatever about Islam, what maybe you think about it, certain things you think are contradictory. Do you think things you like and don't like about it, and why certain Muslims or people who follow that faith, or even other religions for that matter, do those certain things in order to follow that religion? Why is it they pray to God? What is zakah? So I wanted to like clarify a lot of these things. So this is the first video, and one thing I wanted to do is like a series of like going through the Quran, because a lot of people, like, we talk about what we do and why we do it, but no one, and a lot of people quote it from the Quran, which is perfect, but I think it'd be good to have like a step by step to go through what the Quran has to offer. Um, so we'll do it bit by bit, because some obviously surahs are really, really long. Um, but yeah, it's an amazing book. I just recently finished it, and it's changed the way I think, the way I do things. Still, I'm learning, Uh, Still, I've got many flaws, but it's made me realize a lot more to this world and what is coming after. And I hope that through this, you guys will see maybe something or similar. And of course, things you see in there, I'll read out. Please put it in the comments and ask, what you think, what you might, questions you'll have on it. Why is this saying that? Why does it say that? What does that mean? Don't feel like it's offensive, or you're saying something, anti, Islamic. There's nothing wrong. Like, the only way we can learn is by debating and actually calling things out. That's how we learn. If we don't question anything, there's no point. Um, but yeah, anyway, without further ado, we'll go with the first surah. Yeah, so it's going to be a short video because the first surah is short. But yeah. So I'm going to first play it in Arabic so you can kind of hear the tone and how it's actually properly pronounced. I can read Arabic, but sometimes it's a bit broken. Certain ones I can read quite well, but it'd be best to do it with someone who's, properly practiced. So yeah, let's go with this. So this is the first one, yeah? Now, from what I understand is the Quran isn't completely in order. So think of it as a recipe book. So, you read it through and you kind of compile it together, but each and every surah and chapter, every surah, chapter has, like, a meaning behind it, a lesson to be learned, yeah, or some kind of guidance, or a way to kind of provoke thought inside you. And one thing you need to understand, and you'll realize when you go through this book, is it's not like a religion of control. A lot of people think, religion's to control people, to make them do certain things, but all the things that book is telling us to do is to serve God, the unseen, not a guy, not a dude, not give money to someone who, is hoarding. It's literally designed as a guidance for mankind, and hopefully you'll come to see that. And if you don't, and you have questions, let me know, of course. But yeah, let's play this anyway. Sorry, one second.
الحمد لله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم
Okay, so that was the first surah, which means chapter in Arabic, I believe. So in English, obviously, I'm sure you've read it, but in the name of Allah, which is God, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Okay. So, what is the most compassionate, most merciful? Like it's not talking about a human or any being on earth or anything. It's talking about God, the one who's created us, everything. And specifically in this first surah, the first chapter, it's like the first thing that's coming to us is the most compassionate, most merciful. And in all of our surahs, we say this first line, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In anything we do as Muslims, when we start something or think about something or we're worried about something, we say this with the intention to do it in the name of Allah, so we do it in a just and proper way. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe I want to give some money to someone, or maybe I'm thinking about starting a new job and I'm a bit worried, or maybe I'm about to have an exam. Um, and this is an amazing verse because it's basically reminding everyone that before all these lessons, before all the guidance that comes in after this, yeah, in the Quran, God is the most compassionate, most merciful. So, that can, think of your mother, your parents, things like that. We believe obviously God is incomparable to anything on this earth, so he is the epitome of compassion and merciful, and that's what this verse explains. And imagine someone who's the most compassionate, most merciful, like when no one else would ever be kind or nice to you, or maybe don't like you for whatever reason, maybe there's certain personality traits, or maybe that you just, you know how people can be sometimes. But this is basically solidifying the fact that God, regardless of who you are, and what you have become, he is the most compassionate and most merciful to all beings. Um, and obviously, if you want to ask about other questions as proof, like the way the world is and stuff, I'm willing to try answer that and all that in another video. But yeah, so next line. Second one is all praise is for Allah, Lord of the worlds. So it has a little footnote here. So basically, it's another reminder here. Because he's the most compassionate, most merciful. So he's really kind, the most kind, most obviously merciful, someone who cares for everyone and everything, more than anyone else could, like we're all limited in capacity as humans, but he's able to do all things. And one thing he's saying here in the second line is all praise is for Allah, Lord of the worlds. Yeah, so it's basically trying to remind people that this is our creator. Yeah, we are all dependent on something, whether it be water, food, or anything. He is Lord of everything, of all the worlds. You can talk of everything that's in those worlds. If you're Lord of the world, you're Lord of everything on it, right? Um, so it's explaining that he is the commander of everything, straight up, no question about it. That is his position. He's in the highest of positions. um, Again, what comes up here? So Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. So we said here Bismillah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, which was the start, yeah. Then we have it again here, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, reminding everyone the most compassionate, most merciful. Now, I don't know if this is just always a start of the Quran, I can't remember, or if that was the verse that was revealed. Obviously, I'm sure it is. Um, but yeah, I believe it is, yeah. That was what was real. So it's another reminder. I am the most compassionate and most merciful. So we're getting it twice here. So, maybe as a reminder to say, look, remember that even though I'm Lord of the worlds, I am the most compassionate and most merciful. And someone who is like that to me means the best for everyone. Do you know what I mean? He's not there to scam you or screw you over or lie to you or take extra money from you or, hurt you or, he's there to do what he feels is that he knows is best for you and everyone. Master of the Day of Judgment. So I will go lightly into this, but I'm sure most people know what this is. But um, this is basically talking about the end of days. As Muslims, we believe the Day of Judgment is a place where after everything's done and here we're not going to have anything to take on from this life except the deeds we carry. There's, these BMWs, Lamborghinis, rich people, poor people, and everyone in between. Nothing will matter what they owned or earned in terms of like materialistic gains, but the deeds they committed with those and the intentions behind them. So the Day of Judgment is this huge, thing that we all are mindful of as Muslims, or at least most, and even Christians and Jewish people as well, and other people who believe in God. Um, this is a day that will be judged for everything we've done. And a lot of people think it's crazy, like, well, we're going to have another life after this, but that is the case. And it's something to be mindful of, and it's you'll see this repeated heavily a lot in the Quran. Certain things are always repeated in the Quran, almost to remind humanity, like, look, remember this is coming, and be mindful of it whenever you're doing anything. Similar to like how it says, Allah is the most merciful, God is the most merciful and the most beneficent or most compassionate. You we worship, and and to you we ask for help. So again, he's reminding you now that come to me, you, to him you worship. So remember, these are translations. The Arabic language has like a million or so words. I can't remember how many it is. Let's see how many it is. Arabic language has yeah, 12 million distinct words. The English dictionary only has 770,000. So that's huge. So a lot of the time some of these translations are like roundabout. So, like for example, you have babies, adults, and teenagers and toddlers, right? Four different categories. Yep. Or a child, kid, things like that. We could say five there. But the Quran has lots of different descriptions for different stages of the growth of a human, for example. So, like, there'll be a name for a child that's a year old. Then there'll be a name for a child that's 2 year old. And then there'll be a name for a child that's 2.5 years old. Do you understand? And each one, when named with that specific word, will refer to that. I'm just using this as an example, but um, like there you go. Arabic has 23 words for love. So even I didn't know that, to be honest. Um, but yeah, obviously, if anything I'm saying wrong here, I'm just learning myself as well, as much as I can. But I'm just trying to share what I've learned from reading it in English. I've read it in Arabic once as well, and I just recently finished it this year in English. But yeah, so just be aware of that. Like when you see words like "you," we worship, and or if it says "he," God is not a he or a she. Understand that, yeah. But it's the word that's used to refer to him. That doesn't mean he. It's just like that's the closest we can find to it, if you get me, to describe it. Sometimes we have to use whole sentences to describe a word. So you worship, and you we ask for help. So yeah, how strange is that? Like a lot of the time you think, oh man, I'm stuck. What do I need to do here? Is this the job for me? Should I ask someone, or what if it's really bad? We can't see the future, but God is known as the all-knowing, the all-seeing. You'll see that come from the Quran. But he's basically just reminding everyone that you can ask him for help. He's not there to just sit there and tell you what to do, but also to help you with things. But also he's reminding you that that kind of respect that is due is to also worship him as well. And it's not telling you to worship like cars or like money or anything like that. It's literally telling you to worship someone unseen, a being that controls everything. Do you know what I mean? These are the words of God, in the Quran, and you know, he's people a lot of, this is the thing where we say, oh, it's trying to control and tell you, but there's no control here. We're basically showing thanks, and he's asking us to worship and show gratification and gratefulness to the one who basically created all of us. Guide us along the straight path. Um, so that's pretty, self-explanatory. I've got several descriptions as well, just so I can, we can make sure things are being said right. Because again, 12 million different words and only 170,000 words or so in the English language. You'll get little different descriptions, but they generally mean the same thing when translated, or they try to match it as best as they can. But guide us along the straight path. Straight path, the right path, the one that will lead to success in the next life is what it's talking about, yeah? So the path that will lead, because this world is just, temporary, and we'll come into that later in further surahs, but yeah, it's talking about that. The straight path is doing right, doing good, and living by what Allah has decreed in the Quran. um, the path of those you have blessed, and not those you are displeased with, or those who are astray. So a footnote, just check that. It's custom. Yeah, yeah. So usually at the end of prayer, this is the first. All Muslims, when we stand up and start our prayer, this is the paragraph we all read out, as like, showing praise to God and saying thanks and basically affirming these attributes to Him that He's written in the Quran, um, that Allah's written in the Quran. um, so yeah, we're basically asking Him, like, keep us on this straight path, keep us doing right, help us to do right. If humans have free will, we can choose to do bad or defy God, and this is basically kind of reaffirming, like, there's times where we won't know what we're doing, or there's some people that, you've seen the bad people of this world who do truly wrong things, and they're kind of left to their own devices until they choose to make a change themselves. Some people choose not to, and you've seen them kind of people. And this is kind of like asking, look, please keep us on the right path, and not of those that you're displeased with or who have gone astray. So even if we are to go astray, kind of thing, keep us on your path. So make us realize the mistakes that may have displeased you, or made or similar to those who have gone astray, and just keep us on that path. As I'm sure we've all made mistakes, we've all done wrong things, including me, and it's like kind of reaffirming, and asking God, look, please keep us doing the right thing, or help us to do the right thing when we may be doing the wrong thing without us knowing. Because as humans, as intellectual and the faculties we've been blessed with, sometimes we do make stupid decisions, or the wrong ones, whether it's accidentally or intentionally, and we're not realizing the actual repercussions of those things. So yeah, that was the first surah. Hope whoever it is, please put any comments down. Sorry if I waffled a bit. Yeah, obviously I'll get better at this and try to thin things down and edit stuff. I need to get an editor, to be honest. But I hope this helped you guys understand a little bit more, like the first surah. And yeah, next video will be on the second one. So this is really big. It's like there's 100, or no, I think there's more. Yeah, 286 different verses. So it's quite a big one. So I'll probably break that up, like I'll do like 40 or so, or 50 each one, just so it's bite size. So like part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or whatever. But yeah, I hope that helped. And when I say Assalamu alaikum, I'll obviously do an English version as well, or after it. But that basically means may Allah's peace and blessings be upon you. When we say Assalamu alaikum. So yeah, may God's peace and blessings be upon you all. And I hope this gave a bit of insight to those who may have never come across the Quran or read it with its meaning translated to English. All right, thank you. See you guys in a bit.